And good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Twitch. Good morning, FCF Nation. Good morning, the Knights of Dejan. Good morning, Yankees world. This is another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew, and we are here on this fine Monday, May 16th at 11:01 a.m. Just wishing everybody a happy early start of the week. Make sure you got your cup of coffee with you because I'm going to sip on mine. Ooh. But we are here. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. We had a great weekend. Yankees, great weekend. We couldn't sweep all 4 games in Chicago. We won 3 out of 4. But hey, you can't go 162-0. You got to have a few games where you get those hiccups in. Not going to lie. But yeah, just here enjoying this fine morning. Got a lot of things to go talk about. Nasty Nestor was on the mound yesterday. And he was nasty. Jigga Man and myself, we was texting back and forth. That's how nasty he was going. But Nasty Nestor showed up yesterday against Michael Kopech. It was a phenomenal game. Kopech, he was struggling, walked the bases loaded, and walked in 3 runs with the bases loaded. But hey, that's baseball, Susan, as they always say. But as you can look here, look at Nasty Nestor, just filthy this entire game. He pitched 8 innings as well. We'll get into the stats and stuff like that. But this weekend in general was awesome. We seen Joey Gallo, his bat start to wake up. Josh Donaldson, his bat start to wake up. The only thing we missing now is Aaron Hicks. If Aaron Hicks, if he could just wake up and he could just start producing, I don't need Aaron Hicks to try to hit 100 home runs in the season or 30 home runs in the season. Just get on base like you do. Get some singles and doubles. That's all I need from my guy, Aaron Hicks. But, hey, let me see right here. Like Jig Man said, how you doing? How's everybody doing? I hope everybody is well. Scary weekend. Just, thoughts and prayers to everybody that was affected by, the tragedy in Buffalo. Don't want to get all into it, but thoughts and prayers when it comes to that. This weekend in general, we had basketball. I don't really touch on basketball that much, but the playoffs is heating up and it's looking really good. My Knicks aren't in it, but hey, we can highlight when there's some good sports going on, and there's some good sports going on right now when it comes to the playoffs. But back to these Yankees, you see here in the 8th inning, that's the only knock really that they banged off of Nestor. Home run down the left field line, pulled that barely was fair, but that was it. Besides that, Nestor Cortez was filthy. 8 innings, pitching 8 innings, solid baseball, career high as well, 8 innings. As the Yankees keep rolling on this season, they're stretching out Nestor Cortez because he's never been a full-fledged starter for 32 starts, 150 plus innings. He's never had that in his career. And the Yankees are stretching him out. Joey Gallo, as you see right here, he had a 2-run home run yesterday. During this little hot stretch that Joey Gallo is on, he is hitting well above 300. He's hitting, I believe, 316. They showed it yesterday in the graphics, but well above 300 Joey Gallo is hitting. And something that we love to see. Joey Gallo has been put to the 7th hole. Ever since he's been put in the 7th hole, I believe a lot of pressure is just being taken off of him. He is a phenomenal fielder. Can't lie about that. But hey, great Yankees weekend. A big blemish that we got to point out. Aroldis Chapman, my guy Chappie. Aroldi, I love you. I love you. If it wasn't for Aroldis Chapman, the Yankees wouldn't have Gleyber Torres. But Chapman, my man, you got to figure it out, bro. You got to figure it out. And I know I know sometimes it takes you a while to get things going. You try to catch yourself during the middle of the season. But Aroldis Chapman is not the same Aroldis Chapman that he was before. He's not the guy that's throwing 100 miles an hour every pitch, triple digits, living in the triple digits marks. He's not doing that anymore. So he has to be able to reinvent himself. That splitter that he came out with last year, even though it gave him the ingrown nail in his finger, I think that's a pitch he has to rely on heavily. But Chapman has always been a pitcher that his control has always been a question, but he's been able to get out of it because his fastball used to live 100 to 103. It's not the same anymore. And we saw that Saturday night in a tied game against Chicago. It was 2-2 after the Yankees were scoreless the entire game. They came back, tied it up in the top of the ninth. Phenomenal comeback. Tied it up. You felt all right. All the energy's in our way. Everything is going in our direction. Hopefully, Chapman could just come in, hold it down, so we could hit extra innings, bonus cantos, and we could figure it out. But he gave it up in the bottom of the ninth, And when you're struggling, the baseball is going to find you, as they say. If you're struggling at the bat, it's going to find you in the field. So Aroldis Chapman was struggling. Chicago was able to knock him around, but hey, like they always say, that's baseball, Susan. I think I got to figure out a way to have a graphic for that. That's baseball, Susan. But hey, on to the next guy, my guy Aaron Hicks. He's been trash. On the season. Aaron Hicks, let me look up his numbers officially because I don't want to just rip into Aaron Hicks just to rip into Aaron Hicks. He's a phenomenal fielder. I understand he's coming back off of back-to-back seasons, maybe 3 seasons in a row of not being fully healthy. But on the season, Aaron Hicks is hitting .212. He has 1 home run, and he has 7 RBIs. His on-base percentage, though, let me just get the official on-base percentage for him. His on-base percentage is .358. So he is hitting .212, but he has a .358 on-base percentage. I understand that means he's getting on base 35% of the time, but you need to get some singles. I understand it's kind of hard to try to teach a major league hitter at this day and age in his career, at this age, at this stage, to go the opposite field, but you have to. You have to go to opposite field, Hicks. You got to do whatever you can to get your little singles here and there. You're going to run into home runs when you run into home runs. We know that, especially when you're batting from the left-hand side of Yankee Stadium. You're going to run into your home runs. But what we're seeing right now is not home run-esque material. It's not. Now, on to the guy that I was speaking on before, Nasty Nestor Cortez. Love this graphic. Nestor Cortez on the season, he is 2-1. He pitched 8 innings yesterday. He has a 1.35 ERA, 49 strikeouts, and his whip is well below 1. He has a 0.85 whip, which is 4th in all of baseball, not just the American League, all of baseball. He is 2nd in all of baseball when it comes to ERA, and he's tied for 12th spot when it comes to 49 strikeouts. So on the season, Nestor Cortez, a.k.a. Baby El Duque, he stands 5'11", 210 pounds. But you couldn't tell that from the way he pitched, the way he slings it in there, the way he switches his arm speed, the way he switches his arm angle, the way he uses his cutter, not only to go vertical in the strike zone, but to control the strike zone horizontally, left and right, inside and outside. He is a pitcher. He is a pitcher. If you was to create a pitcher just off of the strength of needing someone just to eat up innings, needing someone just to get strikes, Nestor Cortez is who you want to build your pitcher around. Not saying that he's Greg Maddux, but it's Greg Maddux-esque. The way he's able to control the strike zone, the way he's able to keep batters off balance. And if you're in a 3-game playoff series, a 5-game playoff series, or a 7-game playoff series, Nestor Cortez is the perfect pitcher you want to put right between a Garrett Cole and a Luis Severino. Cortez is the perfect pitcher right in between, because we know Cole and Severino, they're power pitchers. So if you put Nasty Nestor right in the middle of them, somebody who can keep batters off balance, give you a different look, keep batters frustrated, that would be a sight to see in the playoffs. But then my man Aaron Judge had a phenomenal weekend in Chicago. He's leading Major League Baseball when it comes to home runs. He's just been filthy. He's basically telling the Yankees to back up that Brinks truck and open the vault. And if I was Aaron Judge, I'll do the same thing. I know right now the Yankees are probably kicking themselves in the foot or kicking himself in the derriere, the rear end, because they weren't able to sign Judge this offseason. But with the numbers that he's putting up now, he's hitting 296. He was above 300 Saturday in the series. I was pretty hype about that, but he's below 300 just by a few points. Like I said, first in all of Major League Baseball with 12 home runs, and he's tied for sixth place in all of Major League Baseball with 27 RBIs. His OPS, on base plus slugging, it's over 1,000. Actually, 1,001 to be exact, which is fourth in all of baseball. But Judge is having a phenomenal year. He's telling the Yankees, back up that truck and pay me. And I would pay him. Honestly, I would pay him. I wouldn't give him a 10-year contract at $35 million. He's seeking, Aaron Judge wants $300 million. So let's do the math real quick before we keep going. Do the math real quick. So if he wants $300 million, right? And let's say if you don't want to give that to him over the length of 10 years, give it over the length of 6 years. When you look at what the Yankees did with DJ LeMahieu wanted $90 million, but he wanted it for 3 years. And the Yankees were like, we'll give you the $90 million, but let's spread it upon 5 years. And they threw in a little extra also. And he took that. So if we could get Judge for $300 million and we do it for 6 years, I mean, $50 million a year. Put that again, $50 million a year for Judge. Would I do it? Yeah. To keep Aaron Judge in New York? Absolutely. Aaron Judge is 30 years old, 31. So if you give him a 6-year contract, that's going to take him to 36, 37. Make it $50 million a year. If you want to, load the contract and make it that is back end heavy, and you want to start him off at $35 million and let it build up, towards the end of the year. So his last 2 years, he gets 60, 70 million a year. I know that sounds crazy, but the money in baseball is there. So if I was the Yankees, I would give him that $300 million he wants, but I would stretch it over 6 years instead of trying to give it to him for 10 years. Now, if you're Judge, you'll take that. 6 years, $300 million. If you want to put a opt out after the 4th year, you could do that. That way Judge could go out there and get another contract extension. But I think 6 years deal, 36, he'll be coming off. I think he'll be able to get one more contract out of that. So if I was the Yankees, that'd be something that I'll try to throw Aaron Judge's camp in their direction. I don't know. How about you guys? If there's anybody out there that has any feelings towards that, let me know. Like I said, are you willing to give Judge a 6-year, $300 million contract in order to keep him? He wants $300 million. We know that. So instead of giving it to him for 10 years, let's just shorten up the years and give it to him for 6. What's the difference? There's no salary cap in baseball. There's a luxury tax. But with the money that the Yankees have, they can just shoot through that. But what's going to stop us? Would there be another team that'd be willing to give Aaron Judge $50 million a year or exceed that $300 million? I don't know. Maybe Steve Cohen and Queens would. I don't know. But hey, let's talk about yesterday's game. Let's talk about the lineups. Hold on, let me get the graphics real quick. Let's start with the White Sox, right? Don't like to beat up on a bad team, but let's start out on the White Sox. Matter of fact, before that, I should have made a graphic for this. But over the weekend, something amazing happened. I know I've been talking about the Cincinnati Reds, and I know I like to say that I'm sorry and I feel bad for the Cincinnati Reds fans. But this weekend just proved my point. Beside Hunter Green, the phenom pitcher that you guys have, who throws over 100 miles an hour consistently, the Cincinnati Reds threw a no-hitter against the Pittsburgh Pirates. But the Cincinnati Reds still lost the game. Now, the Cincinnati Reds are the only team that I know that can throw a no-hitter and still lose the game 1-0. I'm sorry, like I said, and I'm going to continue saying this. If you're a Cincinnati Reds fan, I'm sorry. Have some faith. The Cincinnati Reds has a well-known tradition and a well-known history and a well-known spot in baseball history as one of those legacy teams. But right now, the Cincinnati Reds are starting to feel like the Cubs before they won the World Series. The Cincinnati Reds are starting to feel like, if I may say it, don't hate me, the New York Knicks, being a team that has a pristine legacy in the league that they're playing in, but they haven't won a championship since before I was even born. I think the last time the Reds won a championship, hold on, let me just check before I get killed on Twitter by you Cincinnati Reds fans. Cincinnati Reds last championship. 1990. Ooh, I was born 89. So you see, I was a little bit wrong. But before 1990, the last time the Reds won was 76 and 75 when they won back-to-back. So besides 1990, the Reds haven't won since the 70s. They like the Mets, but the Mets are actually doing good. They actually have an owner who's competent. They actually have an owner who you can trust. You know, they've had success within these past 20 years, the Mets have. Not like the Cincinnati Reds. And I'm sorry, like I said, I'm sorry. I don't mean just to be beating up on the Cincinnati Reds, but hey, if you're a Reds fan, I'm going to continue saying this every night. I'm going to light a candle for you. Like my grandma used to say, I'm going to give a rosario. And I'm a wish and hope and pray that something good happens the rest of the way for the Cincinnati Reds. But hey, let's get back into this White Sox game. As we look at the lineup for the White Sox, hold on one second. As we look at this lineup, you got Tim Anderson leading it off. You got Vaughn, the first baseman, batting second. A little switch up here. Normally, the entire series, they had Jose Abreu batting third, but now they flip-flop Jose Abreu and Luis Roberts. The center fielder, and Roberts batting third. Jose Abreu, the DH, like I just said, batting fourth and cleaning up. Jose Abreu broke his 0 for 20 streaks in Saturday's game, but he still went 0 for 4 in Sunday's game to start a new streak. You got A.J. Pollock in left field. You got the second baseman in Garcia. You got Angles, who had that home run against Nasty Nestor. Then you got Reese McGuire, the catcher. And then you got Harrison. When I first saw the name Harrison, I got excited because I thought it was Josh Harrison from back in the days that used to play with the Brewers, but I was sadly mistaken. When it comes to the pitching side of everything, you got Michael Kopech. Michael Kopech was the leader in the American League when it comes to ERA. I got to check where he sits right now, but after yesterday's game, not no more. He had 4 walks. I believe all 4 of those walks came in that inning that the Yankees scored those 3 runs off of him. He pitched 6 innings, 1 hit, 3 runs, like I just mentioned, those 4 walks, and only 3 strikeouts. The pitcher who came in after him, Burr, he pitched the inning, no hits, no earned runs, no walks, and no strikeouts. Then you had Lopez come in right after him. He pitched the inning as well. No hits, no earned runs, no walks, but he did have 2 strikeouts. Then you had Jose Ruiz, who came in. He pitched the inning, 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts. He's the gentleman who gave up that 2-run home run to our guy, Joey Gallo. And obviously the losing pitcher of record was Michael Kopech. But the Yankees, the first 2 games, they was treating the White Sox like it was a softball game. And then, of course, Jordan Montgomery pitches and the Yankees forget to hit whenever Jordan Montgomery pitches. It's just how it is. It's just how the rules are written nowadays. Don't know why. Don't know if it's because there's a certain breakfast that the Yankees hitters are having whenever those days that Monty goes on the mound. But hey, we can figure it out. They did score 2 runs later on in the game, but like I said, Chapman did give it up. But yesterday's game, they only got 3 hits. Let's look right now into that. Let's look at the Yankees lineup. Because it was a bit, pathetic last night. I'm not gonna lie. I should say yesterday afternoon. But hey, here it is right here. You had LeMahieu leading it off. You got Judge, the right fielder, right behind him. Now I like this. I had a conversation yesterday with a gentleman from Yankees Section 420 podcast. Awesome guy, great conversation. And he asked me about Judge switching between center field and right field and his big body. How do I feel on that? And to a point, I agreed with him. That's not something that I want to see for 162 games. But if it's a situation where you could have Judge playing center field 2 or 3 days out the week, which will give Giancarlo Stanton the opportunity to play right field 2 or 3 times a week, as long as we could just rotate them between center field and right field, our defense doesn't drop off tremendously, probably just on range when it comes to right field. But overall, our defense is solid with Judge in center field. That is something I could admit. I'm not going to lie when it comes to that, but it's not something that I want to see for 162 games. But hey, Josh Donaldson, he's starting to heat it up. Like I said, Joey Gallo started to heat it up as well. IKF, he's getting his hits. Yesterday, he got a hit. Today, he got a hit. So he's coming out of his little funk that he was in. But this Yankee lineup, DJ LeMahieu, the second baseman, was 0 for 3. Aaron Judge, the right fielder, was 0 for 4. Antonio Anthony Rizzo, the first baseman, was 0 for 4. And Giancarlo Stanton was 0 for 4. Now, when you have your top 4 hitters in your lineup going 0 for 4 in a game, right? But then you have your hitters right behind them picking it up when it comes to Donaldson, when it comes to Gallo, when it comes to IKF, So when they and I'm back. Apologies for that. I guess Aaron Hicks didn't like me speaking bad on him, so he sent a little carrier pigeon this way to mess up my StreamYard link. So sorry about that, Hicksy. But like I was saying, when you have the top part of your lineup, your 1 through 4 hitters going 0 for 4, the LeMahieu, the Judge, the Rizzo, the Stanton. When you got those hitters going 0 for 4, but you got your bottom half of the lineup and Donaldson and Gallo and IKF picking it up, that's something that you can live with. That's what we need. That's what all last week I said it. If we can have LeMahieu and Judge, Rizzo, and Stanton, if those are our 3 to 4 consistent hitters for the entire season, whenever they go into a slump or whenever they have off games, if you can have Donaldson and Gallo in the bottom half of your lineup, pick it up, even Hicks, even Aaron Hicks, because that inning where the Yankees were able to draw those 4 walks, get those 3 runs off of Kopech, Aaron Hicks was a key contributor, being able to draw a walk and get it on base, having a phenomenal, I think it was a 10-pitch at bat he had, Aaron Hicks, when it came to Kopech. So if you can have that bottom half of the lineup pick it up, that's something that you need for 162 games. That's a formula that can win in the postseason, not just during the regular season, in the postseason. Because in the postseason, you may have a hitter that he can carry you through the division series or the championship series, but it's never been that they could carry you through all 3. between the division, the championship, and the World Series. So if you can have the bottom half, pick up your guys on the top half, that's a winning formula for baseball. Now, when we look at the standings, because we have to get into the standings. Sometimes we're just petty as Yankee fans, but hey, we got to get into the standings. This weekend, Yankees were able to put themselves further away and separate themselves from Toronto. Not that much Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay is 4.5 games behind the Yankees. Toronto is 7.5 games behind the Yankees. When you look at to the AL Central, you got the Minnesota Twins, who are 20-15. The Cleveland Guardians are 16-17. And the aforementioned Chicago White Sox are 16-17. So, hey, it looks like the AL Central is going to be the worst division in baseball as of right now. The jury is still out there. I know it's a bit early, but when you have the Minnesota Twins, the only team over 500 and everybody else below 500, it says a lot about your division. But on to the AL West and to a division that I'm going to keep my eyes on. I know I'm a Yankee fan, and I know, I'm going to always talk about the Yankees, but I'm going to keep my eye on the AL West. And my man, Worldwide L, top of the morning. Hope all is well, L. Salute. 3 capital S's, like always. Hope all is well, my guy. Love you, bro. But this AL West, it's a division that I'm going to keep my eye on. You got the Houston Astros, 23-12. But you got the Los Angeles Angels, who are 24-13. They just have one more loss, but one more win as well. So it's a tie. It's a tie for the AL West. Screw the West. I understand, Al. I understand. Trust me, I understand. But hey, if we're covering it, the AL West is a team, is a division, I should say, that I'm gonna have my eye on. Not gonna lie, the Angels are not a team that I want to run into in the playoffs. If you know the Yankees' history with the Angels, especially within these last 20 years and the early 2000s, the Angels were kicking our butt. In the 2000 playoffs, they eliminated us. In the 2007 playoffs, they eliminated us. But and also 2002 playoffs, they eliminated us. So we have a rivalry with the Angels, especially in the playoffs. We were able to get them back in 2009, shout out to Alex Rodriguez and that team that led us to the championship. But the Angels are a team that I want to avoid in the playoffs because I do not want Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout to have their playoff moments against us, to have their breakout playoff moments against the Yankees. That's not what I want to see whatsoever. Now, making our way to the NL East, you got the New York Mets. The New York Metropolitan Mets, who are 23-13. They are 1 game behind the Yankees for the best record in all of baseball. So shout out to the New York Mets. But the New York Mets also are suffering, and it's not the Mets' fault. It's just the competition that's in their division with the same thing that's going on with the AL Central. The Mets are the only team in their division that's over 500. The Phillies are 17-18. The Braves are 16-19. The Marlins are 15-19. And the Washington Nationals are 12-24. But I still believe that this division, this NL East division, is better than the AL Central. Just because the Phillies are a way better team, in my opinion, than the Cleveland Guardians. The Atlanta Braves, defending world champions, are a way better team than the Chicago White Sox. The Miami Marlins have so much young talent, and I like the Miami Marlins way better than I do the Kansas City Royals. I'm so sorry. Royal fans don't hate me. And the Washington Nationals are still trying to retool themselves from when they won the championship. So I like this division more than I like the AL Central. It's not that far, but the Mets are the better team. They are a better team than Minnesota, and I'm going to give it to the New York Mets. With the Mets and the Yankees, both. Oh, the Yankees are 25-9. My apologies. The Mets are 2 games behind the Yankees for the best record in baseball. 25-9. Woo! Let me say that again. 25-9 after 34 games. Golly. But on to the NL Central. You got the Buckies, the Milwaukee Brewers, 22-13. leading that division. Then you got the St. Louis Cardinals, who, if you guys didn't see, Albert Pujols made his major league debut on the mound this weekend. That was a sight to see. If you're Albert Pujols, this is going to be your last year in baseball. So you're going to want to do the things and get stuff out the way that you never did. So for Albert Pujols to be able to have the chance to pitch, not in a blowout, but a blowout that was a win for your team, that was a sight to see. You seen Evan Longoria get a hit off of him and immediately asked for the ball. He wanted to hold on to the ball, but that was a sight to see. Albert Pujols, you've meant a lot to the game of baseball. Growing up, watching you, playing MLB The Show 2005, always stealing you from the Cardinals, putting you on the Yankees. But Albert Pujols had a phenomenal career. If you haven't been able to enjoy Albert Pujols' career, I implore you to go on YouTube, look up his highlights. But Albert Pujols, he was a machine in the early 2000s. From his rookie year onto before he signed with the Angels, but from his rookie year to 2010, 2011, he was a consistent over 300, consistent over 30 home runs, and consistently over 100 RBIs. So Albert Pujols, I take my hat off to you. The game of baseball will miss you, my guy. We would definitely miss you. But on to the rest of this division. You got the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are 15-19. The Chicago Cubs, who are trying to figure it out. Clint Frazier's hurt. Maybe that's why. But Chicago Cubs are 13-20. And then you got the Cincinnati Reds, 9-26. There's nothing to say about the Reds. I already said it. So sorry. Hunter Green. Hopefully the Reds could figure something out. They sent down Joey Votto for a minor league assignment to rehab an injury. I just don't know what's going on in Cincinnati. I think Joey Votto is going to be brought out, and he's going to find himself on another team. If I was the Yankees, I would try to sign him as a platoon option, but I don't know because we do have Anthony Rizzo. But I'm not sure when it comes to the money that he has, if Cincinnati wants to even eat the rest of it. I don't know. We just have to see how that works out. Now, to the other division in baseball, which I'm going to like, the NL West. You got the Dodgers leading that division with 21 wins and 12 losses. Then you got the Padres. The Padres and the Dodgers are tied for first place. The Padres, 22-13. Then you got San Francisco, the Giants, who I just mentioned, who just played against the Cardinals, and Evan Longoria got that single off of Pujols. But the Giants are 20-14, having a solid season, just like last year. The Giants are a consistent team from top to the bottom. The team from the minor leagues organization, it's a organization. And within these past 10 years, the Giants have been the dynasty in Major League Baseball. When it comes to the championships they've won, I believe they won 3 championships within these past 10 years. So shout out to the San Francisco Giants. The Arizona Diamondbacks, 18-17, and the Colorado Rockies, 17-17. So baseball is going to get interesting, especially with this new, how the playoffs is lined up, how baseball is just giving more teams opportunity to make the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me just check real quick. Now, the Cincinnati Reds, they became the 6th team in Major League history to allow no hit and lose. They are the 6th team in baseball history to throw a no-hitter and still lose the game. In other baseball news, we got the Mets right-handed pitcher, Tyler Mcgill, who has been phenomenal for them. He's placed on an injury list with bicep tendonitis, which means just weakness in the bicep. So hopefully that's just, him just shaking it off, having a shortened spring training. We don't want nothing bad to happen to him. We never want to wish injuries on any other team, even if it's a team that's our rival, who are competing for the city when it comes to trash talking and those type of bragging rights. We never want anybody to get injured. So hopefully Tyler Mcgill can come back. The Toronto Blue Jays, single A team, they struck out 24 batters in the game. That's phenomenal. You got the Toronto Blue Jays single A team struck out 24 batters in a game. There are 27 outs, as you know. So the strikeout to get 24 of those outs via the strikeouts, that's impressive. Yes, it's a single A team, but hey, it's still impressive. Let's see. Ohtani he got his number 100 home run. So shout out to Shohei Ohtani. Shout out Ohtani. It was a 420-foot-5 home run that he got for his 100th home run of his career. Kudos to Shohei. Shohei Ohtani is turning into one of the best things in baseball. So like I said, if Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout both make it to the playoffs, I do not want them facing the Yankees. Point blank, period. Yeah, that was crazy. You pitch a no-no and you still lose. And to be the 6th team in all of baseball history for that to happen, that's it's not a list that you want to be on, L, when it comes to that. But let's see any other Yankees news. Oh yeah, if you guys seen over the weekend, Josh Donaldson and Tim Anderson got into a little scuffle, you can say. Saturday's game, Tim Anderson didn't like getting tagged by Josh Donaldson. Now, as a Yankee fan, I can't admit, trying to push a player off of the bag so you could get them out it's not a good look. Even though Josh Donaldson is a Yankee, I'm gonna be on Tim Anderson's side. It's not a good look. And for Josh Donaldson just to get up and act like nothing happened, like, oh, it was a mistake or whatever, you know what you were trying to do. So I got Tim Anderson's back on this one. I'm a Yankee fan, but I could look down the middle and I could be objective. Donaldson was in the wrong. Tim Anderson had every right to be mad. When you have a situation like that, even the slightest tweak could mess you up. When you got Josh Donaldson, who has that much weight on top of Tim Anderson, any little movement, any left, right, whatever, can mess you up. Let's see. It had me cracking up. Yeah, it was a bit funny. It was a bit funny at the moment because you seen the benches come out, you seen the dugout, you seen the bullpen, and that's and that's one thing that's interesting. If you guys can remember, Andrew McCutchen, the year that he was traded to the Yankees, or the year that he became a Yankee, early in the season, there was an incident in San Francisco when he was with the Giants, and he was mic'd up, and he was like, "Oh, all right, this is why I hate these bros, because by the time I run into the infield, I'm out of breath and nothing is happening. By the time the outfielder and the bullpen gets there, it's just shoves. That's it." So it was type funny listening to Andrew McCutchen, that audio, but yeah. That's exactly what it was. The bullpen came out running. He had the Yankees bullpen coach, Harkey, I believe his name is. I'll try to make sure I get it right for tomorrow's game. But the bullpen coach, he was jogging. By the time he got there, he was like, "Yeah, this is over." He did an about face and went right back to the bullpen. So it was hilarious throughout the entire game. Not the entire game, but that moment was a bit funny, seeing the bullpen running, and by the time the bullpen got there, they had to do an immediate about face, because that's all it is. Nobody's going to be punching no one. Nowadays, when you have baseball, which is more of a corporation, especially globally around the world, that's not a product that you want showcasing to other countries. If you're trying to get fans, I know us Americans, we're barbarians. We love that. But it's not something that you want to broadcast. Let's see. John Sally said it best. John Sally was being interviewed, and he said what they used to do in the 90s, in the 80s, wouldn't fly this day and age, just because of the politics that are behind it. When you're trying to broadcast to a new fan base from different countries, you don't want them seeing that side of the game, which I totally understand and I totally respect it. You want to see more fun. You want to see, more bat flips, more players being Juan Soto. That's what we want. We want players being able to be Juan Soto. We want players to be able to be themselves. So as long as it's out there being fun, hey, I'm happy for it. But early rumors, they got the Yankees looking at Luis Castillo from the Cincinnati Reds. If you're a Yankee fan, I'm going to leave you with this. We got 5 minutes before we hit the 45-minute mark. If you're a Yankee fan and you like Luis Castillo, what are you willing to give up for Luis Castillo? Luis Castillo has been a pitcher that's been very interesting to me, especially these last 2 seasons. He's always had rumor ties with the Yankees, but also these past 2 seasons, he's had a bit of the injury bug. He's had a bit of a lat strain. He had a bit of missing a few starts just because of tightness in the elbow. And whenever you hear shoulder tightness in the elbow coming from a pitcher, the red flags go up. The question marks start to pop up. So if I was the Yankees, stay packed. I wouldn't make the move for Luis Castillo, especially not right now. When we get closer to the trade deadline, we'll be able to identify more what this team needs. We'll be able to pinpoint exactly what's the identity of this team. With LeCastro coming back off an injury pretty soon, we will have that speedy bench guy coming off of the bench to replace Stanton late in the game to be a 4th outfielder. There was rumors about Brett Gardner coming back, but let's put those Brett Gardner rumors to bed. Brett Gardner, I love you. He was a part of the 2009 championship team, but your day has sailed. If you want to come back and be a bench coach with the Yankees, I'm all for it. If you want to come back and you want to be an instructional coach in the minor leagues, I'm all for it. But being our 5th outfielder, just so we can have speed coming off the bench, Gardy, I love you. But get ready for old timers game. That should be the only time we see Brett Gardner putting on a Yankee uniform to play. Apparently, there's been offers. He got an offer from Kansas City. Apparently, he got an offer from San Diego. And I think it was the Minnesota Twins as well that threw an offer at him as well. And he turned them down. So it looks like to me it's Yankee or bust when it comes to, Brett Gardner. And that just shows his loyalty. If you Yankee fans can remember, Bernie Williams did the same thing. After the 2006 season, Bernie Williams retired. He was offered a contract by the Kansas City Royals and the Chicago White Sox and the Oakland A's. And he turned all 3 down because for him, it was Yankees or bust. He couldn't see himself putting on another uniform. He couldn't see himself, watching the Yankees in the playoffs while he's at home coming off of a season that he was below 500, the team that he was on. So tip my hat off to both Bernie and to Brett Gardner. Diehard Yankees. They are loyal to the Yankees. And like I said last week, hashtag Bernie Williams to the Hall of Fame. That should be something that will be trending soon. That's a campaign we will be pushing here on the Yankees Morning Brew. But guys, it's about that time. It's 11:45. It was awesome talking to you guys. Leave me in the chat, in the comments down below. What moves do you think the Yankees should make? Do you guys think the Yankees should go after Luis Castillo? Do you think the Yankees should just say, you know what? We like what we've seen from Trevino, from Higashioka. Ben Rothbach has been injured. The catcher we got from Minnesota. Should we just say screw that and go and call the Chicago Cubs and try to get their catcher? That's an option as well. We will have to give up some prospects, so I'm not sure if Yankee fans will be down with giving up that many prospects. Me personally, if the asking price gets right, sign me up for it, because that catcher from Chicago has a winning mentality. He was a part of the team that won the World Series. He is a Gold Glover behind the plate, so you have nothing to worry about. So let me know down below. Put it in the chat what you guys think. Put those thumbs up as well. If this is your first time on the channel, hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 500. We just broke 400 subs, on our way to 500, and from 500 on our way to 1,000. Guys, love you guys. And like always, peace, love, and deuces. Bada bing and bada boom.